Hi, my name is Shawn, and I work with thousands of security professionals that obsess over every detail in cloud security, researching bad actors, developing intelligence, and of course, building great products you can use to protect your business. That's our mission. That's what we sweat every day. And we need to, because this space is evolving so rapidly. Even in the last 10 years, the pace of technical innovation has been staggering. And as businesses take advantage of that technical innovation, so too have bad actors. I'd argue the way we approach this space needs to change. We need to evolve from constantly catching up to consistently being ahead. Even the word security is a bit of a misnomer. By definition, it means free from danger or threat. But isn't it the reality that we're under constant threat? Cybersecurity is not a problem you solve. It's a problem you manage. The reality is the tactics bad actors use today could look very different tomorrow, and what they do tomorrow could look very different next week. The good news is there are way more good guys than bad guys, and it's important all the good guys work together. It's a team sport. But we need a new mindset. This professor out of New York University, James Carse, came up with this really interesting theory of how the world works, which was more recently popularized by Simon Sinek. Carse theorized there are two types of games: finite games and infinite games. Finite games have known rules, clearly identified players, and a clear winner in the end. Just think about a game like chess. These rules are well understood, it's played by millions of people around the world, and there's no debate on what winning the game looks like. Infinite games are very different. There are no agreed upon rules. Players can be known or even unknown, and winning is as much about staying in the game. Take finance, for example. Rules vary dramatically from country to country. There are both known and unknown players that influence the game, and their decisions can have a massive impact on all of us. Cybersecurity is an infinite game. The bad guys aren't playing by any rules. There's no such thing as a level playing field when a state actor decides to target a business. And as much as they would like, no one industry vendor can claim to have solved security with their solution that addresses, let's say, one piece of the puzzle. Today, too many businesses and security teams have a finite mindset. The risk is that we fall into this trap of thinking we can win or solve the problem once and for all. This is not a winner-take-all game. We have to think bigger. We have to think differently, especially when it comes to cloud security, where the pace of innovation and complexity can sometimes be staggering. At Microsoft, we approach cloud security with an infinite mindset. We believe that in a constantly changing game, we must use intelligence, AI, and automation to create a virtuous cycle of signal to evolve and respond faster to bad actors and events. We believe that cloud security has to be a team sport. We need to collaborate as an industry to share threat intelligence and respond as a team. And as we've seen with incidents like SolarWinds, bad actors are exploiting vulnerabilities much earlier in the development lifecycle, at the code itself. It's opened a whole new front in the game that many are ill-equipped to play. And so our vision at Microsoft with cloud security is to span from code to cloud, no matter what cloud you're running in, and to put intelligence and automation to work to help you be more secure. It starts with outstanding runtime protection, so you can protect all the workloads you have in the cloud. VMs, data, apps, devices, networking, identities, and not just in Azure, but across every cloud you operate in. We need comprehensive visibility and a simplified way of remediating issues across all these assets. But you can't just think about security by the rules we play by today. You must start earlier in the development lifecycle. Start at the code itself and shift left. Customers need to connect security teams and DevOps teams more effectively together to help developers bake security earlier in the experience and remediate issues in the code itself. And we need to do that across pipelines, whether you're using GitHub or Visual Studio, Azure DevOps, or other pipelines. That's the approach we are bringing to cloud security. An infinite mindset to cloud security means thinking from code to cloud, from the development cycle to runtime protection, uniquely powered by intelligence generated from trillions of signals each day in the cloud, along with insights from thousands of the best security researchers in the industry, so you can do more with less. We bring this vision to life with Microsoft Defender for Cloud. It's our comprehensive cloud security platform. Today, I want to share with you how Defender for Cloud will help strengthen your security posture, protect workloads across multi-cloud and hybrid environments, and help secure your organization from code to cloud. First, let's show you how we're expanding security capabilities across clouds. We know security teams are dealing with disconnected tools, gaps in coverage across their environment, and countless security issues. It's more challenging than ever to identify and focus on what matters the most. Defender for Cloud is a centralized platform that provides visibility across your entire environment to strengthen your security posture against evolving threats and prioritize risk with graph-based analysis. And once you've identified your biggest security issues, it also helps you accelerate remediation with integrated governance tools across clouds. Let me ask Terrell Cox to join us and show you just how Defender for Cloud can help transform how you think about managing posture across clouds. Terrell?
Thanks, Shawn. As organizations increase their deployments across multi-cloud environments, it becomes more and more important to proactively reduce risk for your organization. Today, I'm excited to share with you new innovations to help security teams do more with less when securing from code to cloud. First, I'm happy to introduce Microsoft Defender Cloud Security Posture Management. Defender CSPM builds on existing capabilities to provide centralized visibility into your entire environment with advanced prioritization and remediation tools. Let's see how it works. As a security administrator for Contoso Hotels, I will start with the Defender for Cloud dashboard to understand and act on cloud security risks. The overview page helps me understand my cloud security posture across Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud deployments. It also provides me with a quick view of cloud security compliance against industry standards, a full resource inventory, and a summary of my workload cloud protection. In the right panel, I can track the latest vulnerabilities and insights from Microsoft's industry-leading threat intelligence researchers. Now, strengthening my security posture begins with visibility. I can see that Defender for Cloud is continuously assessing 3,300 resources across my environment. I'm going to check the active recommendations. Here, I can see there are groupings of key recommendations spanning across areas such as identity from intra-permissions management, endpoint protection, and now vulnerability management. Defender for Cloud ensures full workload protection with new agentless vulnerability scanning. It seamlessly scans all multi-cloud resources in my environment without the friction of deploying an agent and with zero impact on workloads. Defender for Cloud is one of the only solutions providing full breadth and depth of coverage, marrying visibility of agentless scanning with in-depth agent-based endpoint protection. So let's take a look at what that breadth can do. In the Remediate Vulnerabilities section, I can see a top recommendation that highlights a large group of resources with unresolved vulnerabilities. Here, I can see that I have hundreds of high-severity CVEs, found across hundreds more scanned Azure VMs and AWS EC2 instances. Clicking on any of these resources will show a detailed view of the specific issues. But faced with thousands of actions, I need to focus on resolving my most critical risks. So let's go back to my Recommendations tab. The new Attack Path Analysis tool helps me focus on the most pressing risks. It is built on the Cloud Security Graph that brings together insights from all my cloud resources, external attack surfaces, and intra-permissions management. It analyzes this data to identify the most exploitable vulnerabilities across all potential paths. The threat context from the new Cloud Security Graph cuts through the noise, narrowing down from thousands of recommendations to show me 62 potential attack paths that really need my focus. Let's drill into one to learn more. Now, this attack path involves a virtual machine with high severity vulnerabilities. It's exposed to the internet, has remote code execution, and has access to a sensitive key vault. Clicking on the VM, I can see contextual risk for each node and the environment, its internet exposure and details on related vulnerabilities, as well as critical recommendations to mitigate this risk. Returning to the Defender for Cloud dashboard, I often find I need to search for specific vulnerabilities or resources using parameters that are unique to my environment. I can do this with the Cloud Security Graph Explorer, using query templates based on internet exposure, access to sensitive data, permissions, and more. In my organization, external exposure is a top concern. So I'll start by searching for internet exposed VMs. Here, I find a long list of VMs matching the high severity criteria for my template, but I want to narrow my search. First, I'm going to search for a specific CVE that I'm concerned about. And I see there are 2 internet exposed VMs in my environment with this CVE. The Graph Explorer also allows me to search by specific insights, such as unique data sensitivity labels, or in this case, by tags my company has defined to identify our production and test environments. And there you go. I just found the specific VM with the highest risk based on exploitability and unique impact to my business. Clicking on the VM reveals critical details, such as how it's exposed, which CVEs were found, and applicable tags, so I can identify and remediate the most important risks in my organization. With the new Defender CSPM capabilities for agentless scanning and attack path analysis, SecOps teams can save time and prioritize the most significant risks with context-aware cloud security. Back to you, Shawn.
Thank you, Terrell. Today we announced the capabilities Terrell shared, including agentless scanning and attack path analysis, powered by the new Cloud Security Graph. Hopefully you could see just how Defender CSPM helps you cut through the noise by helping you focus on reducing risk and strengthening your posture across your entire environment. Next, let's talk about how we help you shift left to better secure the developer workflow from the very beginning. Defender for DevOps helps you bridge SecOps and DevOps with automated discovery across pipelines, starting with GitHub and ADO, with more to come. It will also continuously assess the posture and compliance of cloud configurations. Think of it as infrastructure as code security that will help minimize misconfigurations ever reaching production. And it brings all these insights together in a single unified view, powered by what we call the Cloud Security Graph. So security teams can help developers prioritize things that matter and empower the developer to be in the driver's seat. Let me welcome Terrell back to show you Defender for DevOps in action. Terrell?
Thanks, Shawn. As Shawn mentioned, a major challenge security teams face when managing their posture is the fragmented visibility caused by the plethora of cloud platforms, DevOps environments, and disconnected security tools used throughout their organizations. Security and development teams continue to operate in silos, and security tools are not equipped to keep pace with developer velocity. Today, I'm excited to share new Defender for Cloud innovations in the DevSecOps category. Microsoft Defender for DevOps unifies DevOps security management across multi-pipeline and multi-cloud environments, starting with Azure DevOps and GitHub available today, and additional pipelines and source code management solutions coming soon. Let's take a look at how Defender for DevOps helps you mitigate risks to secure from code to cloud. I'm back in my Contoso Hotels environment. In our earlier demo, we explored potentially exploitable vulnerabilities across our Azure and AWS clouds. Now, I will connect to GitHub and bring all the DevOps environments into Defender for Cloud. I simply define some key details, such as a name, a resource group, and I can authorize the connection. Now, I see that I've connected to my GitHub environment. Behind the scenes, Defender for Cloud is onboarding all of my resources and will also integrate with GitHub Advanced Security to analyze the code for vulnerabilities. In the Defender for Cloud portal, I can now see that I have two connectors, the one I just created to GitHub and another one I previously created to my Azure DevOps environments for a total of 21 repositories. In the table below, I see all of my GitHub and Azure DevOps repositories listed along with information on my utmost security concerns. Pull request status, exposed secrets, open source vulnerabilities, and code scanning vulnerabilities. Did you know that GitHub has detected more than 700,000 secrets in repositories to date? The secrets column alone could be a lifesaver. For each repository, I can drill in to view the specific recommendations and take action to remediate the risks. Now that GitHub is connected, I want to show you what shift left really looks like. Let's start by preventing cloud misconfigurations in production environments by enabling infrastructure as code security on the GitHub repos. I'll go to the recommendations page. Moving to view all recommendations, I see numerous critical issues and lots of things marked as unhealthy. As a security admin, this is a lot to deal with. By using the integrated capabilities of Defender for DevOps, I can reduce the volume of security issues by shifting left and fixing these issues in the developer workflow, which prevents them from ever showing up as vulnerabilities in production. Let's focus on a fairly common and heavily exploited misconfiguration. FTPS should be required in web apps. I'll start by going to GitHub to look at my workflow deployments, where I set up GitHub Actions for my Defender for DevOps tools. This will scan any infrastructure as code, or IAC, templates that get committed to a repository. Now, taking a look at pull requests, I can see several across my Azure, AWS, and Google clouds. So let's focus on this Azure workload. Defender for DevOps found some IAC misconfigurations in the CI/CD pipeline. Remember that recommendation we saw in the Defender for Cloud console that FTPS should be required in web apps? Well, here it is. The developer can see the exact place in the code to resolve the issue. Through the integration of Defender for DevOps with GitHub Advanced Security, developers see the same recommendations in their tools as security admins see in Defender for Cloud. No need to switch to a different console. Now that you've seen we can shift left to the pipeline, let's shift left even farther. Switching to the developer's IDE and Visual Studio Code, I will show you how we can empower the developer to fix these issues even earlier. First, notice that the developer has installed the GitHub pull request and issues extension in their Visual Studio Code IDE. This will allow them to interact with the pull request information without leaving the IDE. Going back to VS Code, let's open the IAC workload project. I'll select the Web Deployment IAC template and scroll down. Notice the exact same recommendations appear in line as what we saw in the Defender for Cloud console. That recommendation about FTPS is right here. The developer can see the line of code that needs to be fixed and click to see more details on how to fix it without having to switch tools. Now, the developer can address the issue and submit another pull request. We just prevented this issue in code so that it never reaches the cloud. Now, going back to my security operators view in Defender for Cloud, notice that pesky FTPS recommendation now shows all healthy. That's the power of shift left. You can prevent issues in code before they reach the cloud and reduce overload for your security team. Okay, so you remember our earlier demo where we searched for specific vulnerabilities across our Azure and AWS runtime resources. Now I want to use the Cloud Security Graph and the Graph Explorer to find vulnerabilities in my connected DevOps environments. I'm going to search repositories and expand my query to search for a specific CVE. The results show the complete list of repositories that contain that vulnerability. All these capabilities in Defender for Cloud are fully integrated so that you can use the intelligence in the Cloud Security Graph to explore, identify, and remediate risks from development to runtime. And with that, I'll hand it back to you, Shawn.
Thank you. That's really awesome. Today, we are announcing the availability of the public preview of Defender for DevOps. You can really see how we can enable this entire breadth of code to cloud security to get your security teams rightfully focused on the new emerging threats way earlier in the life cycle. These new capabilities will empower security teams to unify DevOps security management across multi-pipeline and multi-cloud environments, all without slowing down developers. I'm thrilled for customers to take advantage of these new cloud security capabilities. We have an incredible amount of momentum with customers already entrusting their cloud security to Microsoft. We recently had a chance to talk to James Rajesh Vincent, Managing Director at Rockefeller Capital Management, to hear his thoughts on his team's cloud security journey. James, thanks for taking the time to join us here at Microsoft Ignite. I'd love to have you introduce yourself and share with us your team's priorities in cloud security.
Hey, Shawn, thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm James Rajesh Vincent, Head of Platform Development at Rockefeller. I'm responsible for the overall architecture, engineering, and implementation across identity access management, all of cloud platform services, and also DevOps services.
We all know that technology is just one piece of the overall puzzle, and culture definitely plays a role. Have you faced any challenges with bringing security into the DevOps culture at Rockefeller?
It is actually very well embraced because we understand there is a responsibility that we at most have, and it's not secondary to just building software. It is a security-based culture that is inbuilt within the Rockefeller mindset. And so we are quite fortunate to have a lot of our colleagues who are constantly striving to make it better and better from a security standpoint.
Wonderful. And I loved how you are driving towards greater security visibility across the entire organization.
That's right. DevSecOps is often looked at after the software is development, after it is built, and at the time of deployment. We don't want to find things after they are in production because everything else needs to stop at that point. Rather than doing that, if we shift left and all the way, bring it to the developers and developer tools like Visual Studio, it is shown at the time of compilation in line that there are security controls that needs to be tightened right before the code is submitted. That's going to be huge success. So we want to shift the entire paradigm of being conscious of code quality, being aware of any software issues way ahead of actually deploying into production. Defender for DevOps particularly is extremely helpful because it's not in your way impeding anything that we are doing. It just like integrates well with DevOps. DevOps like pipelines so that like code is automatically scanned and the results are produced and made available to the development team, right?
That's great. And it's important to call out that this is not something that just happens overnight. It takes a lot of dedication, vision, and thought leadership to really evangelize this across an entire organization.
Yes.
When you think about how teams collaborate across Rockefeller, how does Defender for Cloud help you navigate that process?
The simplicity of the implementation is key, right? Like if the code scanning is automated, if the code scanning results are made visible, and the code scanning results also provide recommendations on how the remediation needs to happen, right? Like then there's really no downside to it, right? Like instead of me going into multiple places, multiple reports, and multiple things that I need to scan for and chase, integrating DevSecOps results into Microsoft Defender for Cloud and having the single pane of glass that shows me what is already in production and its quality, but also what's coming in the pipeline, and the quality of the code that's coming through is going to be priceless.
What parting thoughts would you have for security teams for improving their cloud security plans, and how can Microsoft Defender for Cloud help in that journey?
Shawn, I'm going to say what my experience has been, and I'll leave it to the individuals who listen to it to take what is worth for them. But bottom line is, right, like give transparency to other teams, make sure that you look at those connectors, ensure that they are continuously getting the data that makes these connectors really useful. Because if you are getting wrong data or no data, you're looking at a already backdated and outdated information. Microsoft Defender for Cloud is your friend. Embrace it, absolutely, because we've seen huge amounts of benefit from it. So it is one-stop shop place where I go to understand what is the state of our platform.
James, it's been such a pleasure to get your thoughts and learn more about your journey. Thank you. That was awesome to talk to James and hear how they are shifting left and changing their security culture at Rockefeller. So, to recap, our vision is to shape the future of cloud security with an infinite mindset. From code to cloud, Defender for Cloud is the platform powered by intelligence that will help you do more with less. And this is just one part of Microsoft's infinite mindset to security in the cloud, along with Microsoft 365 Defender for end-user security and Microsoft Sentinel for security in your SOC. We believe we have a platform you can trust to help stop breaches across your entire organization. However, we can't do this alone. That's why through the Microsoft Intelligent Security Association, we have built an ecosystem of over 300 ISVs and managed security service providers to integrate their security products and services with Microsoft's and to share threat intelligence. It takes a community. We can win together. In every battle, there are good guys and bad guys. In cybercrime, the bad guys are getting tougher. But I want you to remember that the good guys, that's all of us, have a powerful advantage. There are more of us, but our numbers only matter if we work together and smarter. So join us by checking out Defender for Cloud and participating in the public previews we shared. Be sure to go deeper in the Defender for Cloud sessions at the event. And remember, develop an infinite mindset and protect your business with Microsoft Cloud Security.